but it has weakened tremendously, and I'm hoping this is going to be the case as we head throughout the next couple of hours. Thank you, Latasha. Power outage in Grant. Bridget, what about Scottsboro? So I'm going to expand the view a little bit. Sometimes you can get tunnel vision and focus on one area, which the reason I went on my Facebook Live was because of a significant area. The city of Madison had a 70-mile-per-hour wind gust, and again, that was tracking directly towards the mid-city area, very populated areas. That's why I went live. But sometimes you get the tunnel vision, and we need to make sure we include everybody. Scottsboro area, very heavy rain. A lot of the lightning, though, really centered around the Pleasant Grove area. Definitely seeing some wind there. I would say wind, though, is that severe criteria. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible. Maybe even some penny-sized hail. Let me go to our hail tracker. I'd be prepared for some smaller hail. Some gusty winds, upwards of 60 miles per hour. But I'm not seeing that 70-mile-per-hour wind gust, which, again, is what I went live for. Winds and rain crazy in Scottsboro. I feel like everywhere has been crazy today. If you didn't see winds and rains and lightning and hail today, then you probably don't live in the Tennessee Valley. You probably don't live in the Tennessee Valley. Line of storms. You see, it's not, I can't even really call it a line. It's just a clustery mess. But there is a separate line of storms all the way from Bridgeport, really, down to the southern edge of DeKalb County. These still packing a punch. A lot of lightning, torrential rainfall rates. And the worse the wind, really, in and around the Eider area, all the way down to Valley Head. That is where the worst of the wind speeds are. Let's go ahead and 65 miles per hour. Eider, yours is a little less. Yours is kind of severe criteria. I'd say 50, 55, maybe 60, but Valley Head, yours is definitely closer to that 65-mile-per-hour mark. Definitely some strong winds. Oh, of course, Cindy. I'm always here to help. Jesse, those poor people on the long yard sale trying to pack up, geez. Yes, I have been seeing a lot of things on my Facebook feed about the longest yard sale. I'm not very familiar with it, but I saw pictures and it was awful. And yeah, spoiler alert for those who joined earlier, we are going to be getting a good break after this round moves to our east. So I'm going to put this into motion. And again, kind of, because our models are not doing a very good job with this at all. I had 2 different models yesterday that kept us completely dry, and then one model that was very aggressive. And it's kind of like, throwing a dart at a dartboard blindfolded. But I knew that we were going to see some cluster of storms today, just like yesterday. And I figured it would be a rinse and repeat of yesterday. It has. But unlike yesterday, once this back edge moves to the east into Georgia, which they already have down the road severe warnings in effect for portions of northwestern Georgia. We're going to get a good break, I believe, from storms. How long that break will last, not very cut and dry, but I want to say we're going to see that good break even into the overnight hours. Now, tomorrow, we do have a cold front that's going to be approaching the region. What that cold front is going to do is it likely is going to bring back more storms, possibly before even sunrise. So go ahead. I know you're dealing with storms now, but just go through the 7 stages of grief and get to acceptance, because more than likely tomorrow your commute is going to be pretty rough. More storms tomorrow before sunrise. I think we're going to be also tracking another severe threat and possibly an increased concern for severe weather tomorrow, because with the cold front, we are going to have a lot more shear to work with. We don't have any shear today, but we have a lot of cape. So this has kind of been a straight line damaging wind event today. Tomorrow, though, we're probably going to introduce that isolated tornado threat. Is it our main threat? No. But is the threat completely zero? Also no. So just a heads up there, we have added a developing alert for Monday. And it's going to be a Monday. It's going to feel hardcore like a Monday. Again, a lot of people asking, are we going to see multiple rounds of storms? Once the back edge of this, really from Madison County through Huntsville, once all this moves to the east, which it will throughout the next couple of hours, we should be pretty much storm-free, at least through the overnight hours. And I'm curious to see what our model does, because you can already see how off our model is. It's 4 o'clock. This is what our model run, or this is the graph. This is what it's showing. It should look like at 4. We don't look like that, right? We look like this. So you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. Now that, I believe, we will see more storms by sunrise tomorrow. But I don't think, we're not going to see that severe threat likely until it might be the early afternoon. It might be. Based on the graph. But hey, we'll get there when we get there. Let's get through this first. That severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled for Madison County, really northeast Alabama. That's where all the action is. Areas to the west, just light rain. The Moulton area, portions of Russellville through Decatur, just light rain. Not even seeing lightning with that activity. But this activity definitely rough. And we are starting to get another one. Let me clear all these lines out. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why it went on that. I'll put y'all back on the radar. It looks like this segment is starting to bow. Like that other one did. But I believe this is Cherokee County. And that is technically Birmingham's stomping grounds. This is what I'm talking about when I say the bowing segment. Right there. When it starts to bow out, and you have, you get that little, not really a notch feature, but on the back end, you get that bow, and it just spreads all the winds very, very quickly. They just accelerate. And that's how we had that 70+ mile per hour wind gust in Madison County. Still a lot of wind.
It's 4 o'clock, Anna. There's one and let you know you got an hour.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Again, we do have a 5 o'clock show this evening. Still a lot of wind, but that wind is about to cross over the state line. So just hold on. Valley Head, Shiloh area. The worst of the weather will be ending here quite soon. Still some lightning strikes in and around southern Marshall County, also Jackson County, in and around the Pleasant Grove area. Some very heavy rain, torrential rain rates there in Scottsboro still. Just north of you, Geraldine, in and around you, a lot of heavy rain. Fort Payne, a lot of heavy rain. Albertville, your rain rate's starting to let up a bit, but I know it's still pouring. And I'm just over here checking some of our damage reports we're getting in from the National Weather Service. And this is from DeKalb County emergency managers. There is a tree on a home. The structure has collapsed with occupants injured. And that is something you never want to hear. Never, ever, ever. 70-mile-per-hour wind gust is extreme, to say the least. I'm not seeing any of that at the moment, but note, these storms are still strong. The worst is about to be out of here, though. I think your Sunday is going to be trending a lot better than the way that we started it. Power out. Thank you, Jessica. Power out to the traffic light at Triana and 72, being treated as a four-way stop. Yeah, I don't recommend being out on the roads at all right now. Really, even if you're west of I-65. You know, west of I-65, you're just dealing with light rain. But note, there's so much damage out there. I mean, we're still getting damage reports rolling in from northwest Alabama hours ago. There's possibly going to be live power lines on the road, a lot of ponding on the road, trees down on the road. I just wouldn't recommend it. If you are able to stay home on your Sunday and enjoy it indoors, maybe watch a nice movie, do that. Because there's so much damage left over from what just happened, still happening, that let crews do their job and let them clean up before you just, go out and about. And someone in the comments said, check the hook at Rainsville. I'm not seeing a hook. Again, this is not a tornado setup at all. There's no shear out there. But as we've seen today, you don't need a tornado to have severe weather, right? A 78-mile-per-hour wind gust, that's pretty much the same as a weak tornado. Straight line winds can do just as much damage as winds that spin. And that's why it's important to treat severe thunderstorm warnings as you would a tornado warning. A wind gust of 70 miles per hour, I don't think a lot of us can fathom that until we feel it. I also had a lot of people, I think there was rotation. There has not been rotation today. Again, there is no shear out there, really. Someone's talking about El Nino, yes. I feel like this summer has aged me about 10 years. El Nino, not a big fan of El Nino. I'll say that. Yeah, we've been in La Nina for the past 3 years, I want to say. And I think at the rate we're going to be kind of stuck in a weak to moderate El Nino. And the tropical outlook for the rest of 2023, it's complicated because we have so many competing forces. I'm actually going to be doing an in-depth video coming soon. Stay tuned on that if you're interested. Again, the main cluster, the severe threat now in northeast Alabama, but it is quickly moving out of our area, out of the state, should I say. It will be crossing over the Georgia line, Alabama-Georgia state line, excuse me. Likely within the next 30 minutes to an hour. And again, we do have a newscast at 5 o'clock. And I do have to get ready for that. And I believe the National Weather Service just expired the warning. Yeah. It's still strong, but a lot of this is starting to weaken below severe criteria. Don't get me wrong, heavy rain, a lot of lightning, especially if you live right along the Alabama-Georgia state line, really east of Eider, east of Valley Head. Well, in and around Valley Head, you're still seeing a good amount of lightning, probably some gusty winds. But the worst of the weather has definitely moved out of our area at the moment. And again, we likely going to get a good break after this round of storms. And again, just checking the comments. I'm about to head out and get ready for our 5 o'clock newscast. A lot of the storms are starting to weaken below severe criteria. And again, once this line moves out, we are not expecting really our next round for rain or storms, should I say. Big difference between rain and storms. We're not expecting that until before really sunrise tomorrow. And I'm going to outline all of that for your 5 o'clock and also your 10 o'clock newscast. Tomorrow we do have a developing alert for tomorrow. There is a possibility that it could become a first alert weather day. And I know you're probably ripping your hair out just like I am, saying, please, no more storms. Hey, we're all in the same boat, but don't worry, we're going to get you through it. If you haven't already, make sure you download our WAFF 48 First Alert Weather app. We'll be keeping you up to date throughout the next 24 hours, which will be very important. And also, we'll be keeping you up to date 24/7. And the best thing of all, it is free. Thank you for those who joined this evening. Again, you can always catch our newscast coming up in less than an hour. See y'all.